aren't really common yet. And so how do we do it? First of all, there is the choice of the scripting language. If you do mobile testing, then well, you most definitely have to use Appium, which is like a wrapper server which translates Selenium commands to a mobile device. So you can like write tests like Selenium-like tests, which will work on a web browser, but running them to Appium, you can execute them on cell phones, smartphones, and tablets. And there are several libraries which you can script. I'd say the biggest and bestest is Java. They have a really good library. It's a Java Appium client library, and yeah, I would like almost recommend using that if you are starting out from scratch. However, if you are less experienced with high-level languages, then perhaps Python would be a better option. Python also has a relatively good library. It's Python Appium client, and that enables writing scripts just as good. And if you need to write like a pilot or like a proof of concept test, then writing in Python would definitely be easier, because Python allows to create like simple scripts. You don't need to define classes and correct class outlines. You can just write a script and it would run. So yeah, so for some pilot, it might be easier to go with Python. All right, what else? So the tests by themselves are written in Python, and we run tests for development. We run them locally on real devices and on simulators. But for when we're covering builds, when we're doing test coverage and real builds, then we run them on device farms, and device farms are good if your app only works in a certain location. For example, if you have some video streaming application, then those shows usually tend to only be visible in certain regions, like in the US. So for that type of project, it's really good if you have a private device farm which is in the right location and it's remotely accessible. So if you have a global team of testers, then they can just benefit from that farm. We can run tests remotely, and the application will run in the correct region. So we have no problems. We don't have to set up any VPNs. We don't have to fake any GPS locations. And well, faking things is actually not really good anyway, because yeah, you could have problems if you're faking or emulating certain things. Then it's not guaranteed that the application will work that in the real situation. So the absolute best is to use real devices in real locations to get the most lifelike results possible. All right, so next topic. So yeah, the topic is I already sort of started with it, is that if you are in the position where you want to start automation, yeah, alrighty. Point one is automate everything, and this is just yeah, it is exactly what I said. Is that clients often well, if we just say automation, they hear it like a magical word. Yes, we want this. We we want to automate everything, and yeah, that is definitely not a strategy. And like, yeah, the word like everything, it's impossible to achieve. And you could automate processes, you could automate issuing bugs, you could automate testing, you could automate like all types of testing. But like when getting started, you really have to prioritize. And yeah, like you have to filter out which type of tests you want to, or like you don't want to, but like which are the most business critical. Like those are the good starting points. You need to think about like what are the most critical aspects. You need to know that a certain type of user can log into the app, and then can do certain actions, can see certain pages, and that's that. And by just having that really small test running automatically on every nightly build, that is already like a huge value. And you can easily you can add more users to it, can do more complex stuff, and like the benefit comes really fast from it. Like you will start having a safety net. You don't need to have people worrying about if the next build really installs on a phone or not, because if you wake up, you will have an email and the automated test has written to you saying that the build doesn't install at all. So that gives you peace of mind. And yeah, and yeah, like if we're talking about automating everything and automating every test, then that's also it's like I would say it's like too idealistic view. That I've seen that in pure software companies, they start pursuing this percentage, that how much percentage of the code is covered by unit tests. And from what I see is that like the perfect is that 100%, that every possible situation is covered by unit tests, and thus like the product is perfect. And I know a few companies also, especially here in Estonia, like there are companies that really pursue and think that is the holy grail of doing things. But I would say that like we cannot really take the same idea from software development and then apply it to test automation, because test automation is like a wider area, and one of the complexity comes from that the app has several SDKs to use. It has different integrations. For example, you have Facebook login, you have Twitter login, you have in-app purchases, you can log into different services from the app, and like those things require setting up like a system to test these things. You need to have like a separate environment where you could test login into certain places, and those type of tests are really bad for automation. That like you can fake it to a certain point, but in the end you don't want to write automated tests which are super dependent on some third-party applications and services. And that is because it will just be a huge headache. Like it will be a maintenance, it will be a huge maintenance problem. Because yeah, if you write some code which communicates to some external application, and like without you knowing it, the third-party thing might change, and your whole test breaks down, and you're stuck with this failing test just to discover that something changed, and it's not even our bug, So at this point, you're testing some other application, and you lose focus from what you were trying to cover in the first place. So yeah, what good examples. Yeah, like the purchases, definitely. Yeah. Alrighty. Second point is that about like overlooking factors when you're starting automation is that we I'm getting interrupted. Right. So yeah, please, we have a questions tab. Please open the tab up and answer, or I mean, write in there any questions you have. I'm really, I really look forward to your questions. I mean, we want to be as informative and as helpful as we possibly can. So any input from you would be really, really helpful. Yeah, then I can know like what things should I talk about. All right. So another great like a So another big point is that when clients and team leads when they want automation, then they often think that it's like a one trip project, that once we get automation, then we will have it, and we can have the benefits, and it's done. And that is hardly the case. And I've had to explain this quite a lot, and also we're covering it in our ebook. It's a big section, and it describes how automation requires constant maintenance. And like running automation on nightly builds means that you have to keep a constant eye on it, and you have to make sure the tests are up to date, the spec changes are implemented in the tests, and just overall system balance and stability. And that's a constant maintenance. You will always have to like take care of the tests, so they would be useful and running good. Alrighty, looks like we have some questions. Where did I study? I studied here in Tallinn. There's a technical university, and in 5 years I got a degree in computer science. All right, so second question. Okay, what kind of tools to use for mobile testing? Well, it's like I said, main thing is the Appium framework, and we use the Python Appium client to write tests in Python, and also we have some dependency manager, which is Python docs to automatically download any dependencies you might have. And also there is the real device farm already mentioned. Like putting it really shortly, that's about it. Oh, one thing very important for specs, we use very fancy. It is Google Docs, and Google documents are actually quite good, because if you have specification in the docs, then if first of all, if somebody does updates to the docs, then it's possible to write new updates, like it's in a blue color. So So if we are implementing them, we can see that this has changed. And once we implement the change, we can just color the new line black again. Also, if the spec has problems, then you can take some sentence from the spec and you can comment it and say that, oh, that this is correct, this doesn't work correctly in the application, and you can comment, and the owner of the documentation, who is probably on the client side, will get an email about the question, and they can answer. So it's actually a really, really, really good tool to share like a live documentation. Alrighty. What else? We had actually a lot of questions. Oh, and I got them all in a bunch. I'm so sorry. Alrighty. Best advice if you're starting automation. Best advice. I mean, I think that it's a really nice growing market, and yeah, like check out some tutorials, try it out for yourself. There are a lot of easy to start tutorials that they just get you into scripting. Yeah, it will require a little bit of scripting, writing some code, but yeah, there are really nice tutorials, and yeah, like don't be afraid to get your fingers dirty. Like you can ask for help. There are several people in the field. You can ask for opinions, and yeah, overall, if you are anything like slightly interested in it, then yeah, it would be a fun experience, and you will definitely get employed in that area. All right, so next question we already answered. Yeah, we have done some pilots also in Java. The Java is very good. Java is a little bit more stable when doing mobile automation. But yeah, like if you're like our main code base is right now in Python, so there's like the benefit of rewriting everything in Java. It's just in my opinion not worth it. So we're staying with Python right now. Okay, so now we have a really tight question, and this is, which is the best way to start mobile automation? So yeah, this question is so hard. I mean, this entire webinar is to answer this question, and also our ebook. So yeah, like just starting off, you need to get people like hyped about the idea. You need to educate a lot of people, get the processes right, get responsibilities right, and just like move together with the entire team towards automation. It's a lot of learning, and it will require some changes. But if once you get there, it's worth it's definitely worth it. Alrighty, what are the questions? What is the most actual framework? Yeah, so yeah, we've been sticking with Appium for 2 years in a row now. And the good news is that when we started with Appium, it was quite raw, and there were a lot of instabilities, and it was quite a big hassle getting everything ready. But right now, Appium has gone through quite a big transformation, and they have been really putting in the effort to work on stability and usability and compatibility, and I would say that the product has gone to being into quite good. So yeah, I would say right now for mobile, go with Appium, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Alrighty, how do you transfer from being a manual tester to automated tester? And I would say the biggest change is that yeah, you have to write code, and yeah, you have to work with specifications, and it's a different type of work, and yeah, if you start doing tutorials and trying to write some automated tests by yourself, then yeah, if you're digging into it, then while you're doing it, while you're writing your scripts, and at that time you will immediately know if you like this, because yeah, like manual testing and writing scripts, that's quite a big difference. So it's like a personal preference on how you like to do things. So yeah, just get your feet wet, get your hands dirty, try it out, and if you like it, then yeah, just go with it, because yeah, there's plenty of work in our automation field. Alrighty. Alrighty. It says, keep it up, Waldo. Well, thank you. Teaching. We have 2 questions in one. Alrighty, so I guess we have a teacher here, and it said that they teach unit testing, and yeah, and question is, what should we teach students today about testing that would be relevant tomorrow? So I guess that yeah, this is the next step right here. I mean, unit tests is a part of software development, and it is a great practice. It makes sure to write quality code, and yeah, the thing we want to teach today is that just the same as unit tests enable increasing the quality of code, then we want to automate manual tests the same to increase the quality. So in that sense, yeah, like unit tests have the correct mindset, but yeah, we have to apply that mindset to the testing activities. Like yeah, like opening app on a smartphone, on a tablet, and yeah, like those things can be automated. And I guess yeah, we need to teach this mindset that yeah, this is a great idea. So yeah, good tools, frameworks. This question is happening more and more. So yeah, I would suggest go with Appium. It's very easy to set up. The old version, you needed to launch it from a terminal. Right now, you have nice UI. Just click on Start Server, and it's already up. You can attach your real device or emulator to run tests. So all really easy. Alrighty, so we got so many questions. Oh man, I should have. Too bad I didn't get them earlier. Oh, okay. So yeah, so there's this joke that writing code is like that writing code is like it depends on how good you are at Googling, and it's sort of true. If you have a problem, you Google it, and you find like what other people have wrote. So like you could say that like coding also means that you have to have a good skill of using Google and searching things from the web. So yeah, so the question was that like, are there instructions online? Yes, there are plenty of instructions. The sad news is that the instructions quickly go out of date because Appium keeps changing, and new iOS versions come out. For example, iOS 11, which is not yet supported, and so yeah, so those guides go out of date. But yeah, you need to work on your skill to find good tutorials from Google, and yeah, then yeah, having found the correct tutorials, actually everything is written down. What you need to install, what Appium, what you need to install for Android testing, what do you need to have for iOS testing, everything. The information is plentiful, but yeah, it needs it's a bit of hassle. Best place for tutorials. Personally, when I've done setups, I usually Google points me to some blog posts and articles. So yeah, like staff Overflow and other forums, they usually have questions to specific answers, but like nice full tutorials are usually some articles, which or personal blog posts. So you need to be looking out for these. Alrighty. Can we answer a few more questions? Can you repeat the framework recommended earlier? Yeah, well, the framework. It's usually said that Appium is a framework, and it sort of is. It's also a server, but in the sense of writing tests, Appium is a framework because it gives you certain tools and commands to find elements on an app page. It enables you to click on elements. It enables you to insert text, and so you can do swipe, you can do shake, all sorts of things. So it's the framework that we use is Appium, and nothing much else actually. Some say that you could use the Cucumber and to write like behavior-driven tests, but I think that's more of a matter of taste, and you can do it, but it doesn't really. It's not a mandatory step. Alrighty, running out of time really fast. So what else? Question. Oh, so how does one create a mobile device farm for testing? Well, he's been it is going into mainstream slowly. Like AWS just released their testing device farm. They have like a public cloud with hundreds of devices, and you can rent them by the second, and you can write your tests and run them in the cloud. And also, one Finnish company, Testroid, is providing a similar service. And also with Testroid, they also have a public cloud where you have hundreds of devices. But also per request, you can have them set up a private cloud in your location, or multiple locations if you need to do like strict testing in certain regions. So like going the easiest way would be to have some contract with them and have outsourced that device farm to them, because they say it's easy to connect a bunch of smartphones to your computer, but reality is that keeping the real devices functional and running actually requires quite a lot of maintenance. You need to have an on-call person who, when a phone crashes, it needs to be restarted, needs to be unlocked, to have it connected to the correct Wi-Fi, to have internet, and that's like actually a huge hassle. So ideally, you want to outsource that and buy that service in from somebody. Alrighty, so there were actually quite a lot of questions. I really thank you. Thank you for all your questions. I hope that you learned something today, and it went so fast. I tried to put in everything I knew into this webinar, and I hope that this rise in automation will continue, and from the start and with the questions, I hope you really learned something. And as follow-up, please be sure to download this ebook and read it. And it's also like a great thing to share with your team if you want to get into automation. The ebook really provides a nice, like a round overview on what is needed and what automated QA is all about. And it's like actually a great starting point. And from there you can move on with more technical things, which is actually doing some automated testing. It's like writing scripts and finding out what needs to be automated in the first place. But yeah, as a start, yeah, you want to fill in your team and yeah, get everybody on the boat, because yeah, this is the only way you can stay ahead of competition. Alrighty, and there we have run out of time. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely thank you all for listening in, and hope to see you in the next webinar. Yeah, thanks again, and have a great evening.